welcome to a new edition of Africa Today. And in this edition of our program, we will review some reports from the African continent. And we start with a report from Egypt. The new German ambassador to Egypt said Egypt is key partner for Germany in many fields, including foreign policy, economy, culture, and science. The new ambassador has served in several regions, including Ankara and New York. More in the following report.
The new German ambassador to Egypt, Jürgen Scholz, said Egypt is an important partner for Germany in foreign policy, economy, culture, and science. Ambassador Scholz added that he will continue working to strengthen cooperation between the two countries. The new ambassador has extensive diplomatic experience and has served in several regions, including Ankara and New York. Ambassador Scholz presented a copy of his credentials to Ambassador Ashraf Idzib, acting director of the Protocol Department at the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters. He will be officially accredited after delivering the original copy of his credentials.
And now we are joined over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador.
How are you? Yes.
Yes. So, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, how do you weigh the level of ties between Egypt and Germany?
And Germany. Germany is one of the best partner in Europe.
Yes.
They helped us a lot while we were negotiating. My counterpart in negotiation was Edward the Right. He was a German. And I tell you the secret, don't tell anybody. Germans are in complete love with Egyptians. They like Egyptian, whether the Egyptian history, or the Egyptian cadet, or the Egyptian peace process, and they are really a very good partner. So it is in the middle of the middle. You know that the German economy is the largest economy in Europe. So this center has in France also, and on Italy, those are the biggest partners in Europe. So our relation with Germany is very good. They help us a lot. But Germans do not like propaganda. I wanted to joke with them. I told them, the Russian built the Aswan behind the French made underground. What did you make for Egypt? The answer simply that they establish electric power station 5 times the size of Aswan Haida. But they do not declare this. They work quietly and without any big propaganda. But they love you very much.
Yes, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the new German ambassador said Egypt is an important partner for Germany in foreign policy, culture, and science. How do you weigh the importance of cooperation in these specific fields between Egypt and Germany?
It is very good. The level of contacts is very high. I remember that there was a sort of personal relation between our leaders and the German counterpart. Minister, the former foreign minister of Germany, he used to come to Egypt and he respects our policy. And they depend on us in the peace process, whether in Africa, in the Middle East, and the Palestinian question. And we were a very good partner when we negotiated with Europe, and they consider us the main partner in development. Egypt is getting from the EU the most important portion of development assistance because of a simple reason that we are the most efficient of using this assistance. Same thing with Germany, same thing with France or Italy and other countries.
Yes, the bilateral volume of trade between Egypt and Germany is around 5.5 billion euros. How do you read the numbers?
With very satisfaction, but I am greedy. I say that the German market can adopt more and more, can absorb more and more of our exports. Especially in a field you will be amazed in flowers. Germany imports flowers with billions of dollars, and we have the best weather in order to grow flowers. And we have a good portion of exporting flowers to Germany and to Europe. Things like that. Also in the field of energy, we have a very good partner there. And Egypt is always a candidate to export energy when things come to normal. We have surplus of gas, we have surplus of electricity, and of oil. So we are also a good partner concerning the energy. Many things are there. Even agriculture, we are the most important exporter of oranges and citrus and potatoes to Europe and to Germany.
Mr. Ambassador, on a larger scale, how do you weigh the importance of strong European-African ties?
Very good, and I must say that Africa does not attract enough investment like we should have, and that was the reason for the Egyptian initiative during Sharm el-Sheikh conference between Africa and Europe, when our president issued his initiative to encourage Europeans and the donors to come and invest in Africa with the Egyptian experience, which is the best and cheapest also, on the African soil. We can do that, of course, and we have some good reaction from some partners, and I think we can do this job, the tripartite cooperation between Egypt, Africa, and Europe, and we can act quite well the role of a good mediator in the middle of this process.
So with Africa's potentials and Europe's expertise, what awaits both continents from cooperation?
Conferences like this is very important to study what are the aims, what are the possibilities, what are the challenges and the obstacles also, because in Africa we have to do our homework in order to attract more and more foreign direct investment. And of course Africa needs a lot to do about the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy in Africa is not that good. The banking system needs to be ameliorated. The transport and the ports in Africa are not ready to receive big ships, and we have to do something about that. So many things must be done, and I'm quite sure that when we start and when we discuss, our partners will tell us what do they expect from us, so we can make ourselves ready for more and more cooperation in the field of investment, in the field of trade, even in culture and education, which is a very good sector. We do not give it enough attention.
How are current global challenges impacting the urge for cooperation between Europe and Africa?
One friend from Europe told me that Africa is very difficult, and what he can do in Japan in 1 week, he cannot do in 1 year enough, because of the obstacles we mentioned before. So Africa has to do its homework also. And there are many obstacles. And of course it is easier for an investor coming from Europe to spend his money in Europe or in Japan or in China or in the United States, or through the telephone he can make investments. But in Africa it is still a big challenge, and we have to make it easier.
So, sir, why is the EU turning much importance to sustainable development in Africa?
It seems that we have to do much more effort, and we have to cooperate. And I think that our African Union is doing quite a well job, and we need to accelerate the process. We have to make our experts within Africa available much more than we are doing. And we have, as you well know, the Egyptian Fund for Cooperation with Africa, but the capital of the fund is relatively small, and we have to double it or triple it even. So with this, money can do the job also, because it's not only a matter of money, but also the experience which we can exchange with African leadership.
So, sir, one final question. What fields of cooperation needs to be addressed currently in Africa?
Still, we are, I must say, we are in the very beginning, and we have to do much more effort in order to be there. And I am proud of our Egyptian Fund for Development in Africa, which I was ambassador in Cameroon, and I had 70 experts in different sectors, whether doctors, whether engineers, whether teachers, and so on. We have to accelerate this process. And there are also a big chance in order to complementary with our economy. We need to plant wheat and cereal, for instance. In a country like Cameroon, I have this experience. They have plenty of land which is not used by the Cameroonians, and we can use this. And I have the experience that we can establish a sort of cooperation between Egypt and several countries in order to plant whatever we need, and that our land is not enough to produce what we want.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. And back to our reports from the African continent, and the death toll from a mountain of garbage that collapsed in Kampala has risen to 25 with no hope of finding survivors. Details follow.
The huge mound in the Ugandan capital's northern district of Kitizi collapsed on Saturday, burying people and livestock. Lilian Aber, Uganda's State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Relief, said on Tuesday that by late Monday evening, 25 bodies have been recovered and no survivors found. She said no more survivors are expected. It was not immediately clear how many people were unaccounted for. The Ugandan Prime Minister's office said 3 children whose parents were still missing were being sheltered. Heavy rain has hampered the rescue as excavators churned through the garbage. President Yoweri Museveni directed the Army's Special Forces to help in the search. Uganda and other parts of East Africa have been battered by heavy rains recently. Mudslides in a remote mountainous area in southern Ethiopia last month killed around 250 people.
And Zambia and Congo agreed to reopen their border on Monday after resolving a trade dispute between the countries that led Zambia to closing the border over the weekend. Details follow.
The Zambian party informed the Congolese party that the border will be reopened in order to allow the free movement of people and goods between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Zambia. The ministers of commerce of the two countries reported the reopening of the borders in a joint statement. Zambia's Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chipoka Molinga had met with Congolese officials in the city of Lubumbashi near the border. Zambia announced on Sunday it had closed its border with its northern neighbor after Congo imposed a ban on the import of soft drinks and beer from Zambia. That resulted in protests by Congolese truckers near the border town of Kosombalisa. Zambian business groups also criticized the ban. The Zambian Association of Manufacturers said it could set a dangerous precedent for future trade relations. Zambia's decision to shut its border threatened Congo's ability to export its minerals. Landlocked Congo has huge gold, copper and cobalt reserves in its mineral-rich east. Much of it passes through Zambia on its way to the coast for shipping.
And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of Africa Today. Thank you for watching.